Well, folks, here we are on Trading Out. We've got Omar Agag here in the house all the way over there in Queens, New York. Now, he's just done an amazing podcast. Please go and check it out. There is a link underneath this video where he's about to walk you through one of the trades he took to earn part of the $14,000 that he's actually going to take away from a funded trader program this month. So you're going to see the trade that he took to get there. So you're going to learn how he got in the trade, how he executed it, how he got out. And also, well, I think we're going to see a little bit of proof on that funding withdrawal. So over to you, Omar. Let's share your screen and get on with it. As you'll know, as a trader, one of the biggest issues can be coming up with enough capital to make it worthwhile. Well, the good news is my sponsor, City Traders Imperium, have solved this problem for you. Their day trading and swing trading funding programs mean you can trade between 10,000 and 4 million in capital with up to 100% profit share. Yes, you get everything you make on the account. Plus, the folks at CTI have made it super stress-free, allowing you up to 6 months to pass the funding challenge, which means if life gets in the way, you can park things for a while and stick to your trading plan. To check them out, click the link in the description below or in the card above.
Okay, yeah. So right here, this is just the withdrawable profits, because I always like to be like as transparent as possible so people know, like, all right, this guy is actually, he's just not talking out of his ass. But yeah, so $14,000. I only traded the account for 2 weeks because for about 2.5 weeks, took a couple of trades this week. So I wasn't really too active on the account because I wanted to like make sure I was going to get the withdrawal. The withdrawal date is tomorrow, so June 3rd, and I'm going to be taking home like 11,510. And I'm actually going to be outlining a trade that I took yesterday that was a part of this overall payout. And I have the chart here. Can you see the chart?
Yep.
Perfect. All right, so this was actually USD CAD, and I actually called this one too live because I have a public Telegram where I just post my analysis. It's 100% free. I don't do anything paid. But yeah, so pretty much when this is kind of how I personally like to trade. I like to find very important like daily levels and then use those daily levels to kind of have a trade idea forming on the lower time frame and intraday. So with dollar CAD here, we ended up having this major level right there. So the market was kind of going lower and we had a bullish order block right there. And the thing I liked about this level was it took out a prior low before we had a strong impulse move up. So I know this area right here is going to be sensitive to price, and because it's a daily time frame, even if the market, because the market lowered in the near term is bearish, but even if we get some type of impulse push, I was looking for an impulse push like into prior structure somewhere around here where we have prior structural levels. So now I have my support level, and now I have my resistance on like the daily time frame. So what I did right here, I broke it down and I went to the 30 minutes. So the 30-minute time frame is typically what I use in order to frame my trade ideas. Now, one of my favorite setups is, let me see if I have it here. So one of my favorite setups is a divergence play, and it's like a 3 drives lower pattern. So this is one of my favorite setups. So essentially what this pattern is ultimately going to entail is I want to see the market kind of make 3 new lows into a major support level. So what does that mean? I want to see the market kind of go like this, then make 1 more new low, and then make another low, and then have a very strong impulse move up. So when I have this type of setup at a very key level, I'm going to be looking for a retracement play back into, let's say, some type of OTE fib, and I'm going to look for the market to make a higher high. And if there's any liquidity resting above here, or there's a higher time frame resistance, I'm going to be looking for the market to kind of come up into this area. So on the 1 hour, we get just that. So we get the first low right here, and then we get the 3 drives lower. So the market is kind of driving lower, lower. And at the time, this is kind of how it looked. So the market had my impulse move up. And I love seeing this type of impulse, especially when I get this type of candle, because I know this candle right here got people trapped short because anyone who kind of shorted the breakout and under new lows, they're all trapped right in there. So that's like my signature to start to look for an entry long. And again, because this setup on the lower time frame was occurring right here at a daily time frame, I knew that, okay, this is going to be a really good area where the market, if the market retraces, I'm going to be able to enter and kind of take a position. So that's what I did. So I played it. I drew my Fibonacci from low to high on this impulse like there. And I always like to get around the 70. and I put my stop loss like so because this is like a long wick, I usually keep it on the candle below. So the candle prior to this long wick. So I had my stop loss right around there. Well, yeah, it was under the level, so right around here. And I was targeting first a new high right there. So that would be the higher high point. And then I was actually targeting this area as well, which this is like a clear liquidity pool. So unfortunately though, like I was able to get to my TP1 right here. So that was my TP1. It was just right under TP2 and I had my stop loss kind of trailed, but I was still able to like bank around. So right here, it was around 3R, so 3.19R. And again, this is without any type of lower time frame confirmation. This was literally just entering on a 1 hour fib, and I got my 3R just based off of that. I didn't have to go down to a lower time frame. There actually was an entry on the lower time frame that I did add a second position. So I'll just go ahead and show that. This right here. So on a 5-minute time frame, once I saw this confirmation right here where the market had this impulse leg right there, it gave me, and this was like part of what I was telling you before, this is my favorite pattern. When I get an impulse, I just look for a Fibonacci. The market broke a prior structural high. Got in at the 70 right there. And this was like, so on this risk to reward, because it was a very tight stop, I didn't put as much risk on the trade. So I put maybe like 0.3R and I was targeting the same area. So this one was a 9.66, but again, it wasn't a full 1 hour risk because the stop loss was kind of tight. And then, yeah, when you play it forward, price ultimately goes to target. It was just under right there. And then, yeah, the market completely reversed. But yeah, I pretty much got my trade off right there and was able to capitalize on like one hour entry. And then I had the 5-minute entry as well as confirmation. And this is what I was talking to you about before, where sometimes I'll wait. So I'll get like one entry here. And then if I get something on a lower time frame, I'll add to the position. But because it was a 5-minute entry with a tighter stop loss, I risked only like 0.3R versus the full 1R. But ultimately, it was a good trade. Price came up, made a higher high, and yeah.
Hey, folks, ever wonder what broker I use? Well, I use Hanko Trade. It was a no-brainer because I was looking for a broker with good trading conditions and one that wouldn't restrict my leverage. Now, by joining Hanko Trade, I've also cut down my trading costs significantly with their super low commission of just $1 per 100K. You can learn more at hankotrade.com or just click the link I've put in the description. Just to ask a bit of detail around getting out when it didn't hit your target level, how did you work out, like, at what point did you go, it didn't quite get there, I'll take profit? How do you manage that?
Okay, so this is kind of how I always play it, right? So if I know that, so basic market structure is if the market is going to make a higher high, in order for the market to make a higher low, it has to clear the next prior high point. So if you're doing like a basic fib, you're looking for the fib to do this, right? So you're looking for that high to be taken out. So that's why I always set my first target. So when I drew my fib on that impulse push right here, this was the high that I was going to target initially for target one. I want to target here. And then sometimes I use the fib extensions to, map out potential target points. But again, like I always said, I always take at my first target, I always take anywhere between 50 to 75% of the trade, depending on how much I like the setup. So as soon as the price makes a higher high, now I start to think, all right, where am I going to start moving my stop losses on the rest? And I moved it. It's in hindsight, it doesn't look like I moved it a little bit tight, but I moved it under so once I start to see consolidation, I usually put like my stop loss below the consolidation as price makes a new high. Plus, honestly, when I saw this wick and it closed like below, and I start to see like this little doji and then the bearish engulfing, I was okay with moving my stop up this close because this is not something I want to see in a bullish type of condition. If I'm long, I don't want to see price kind of forming this type of pattern, right at like around near my target levels. Because then sometimes it'll indicate some sort of reversal. Plus, again, because on the daily time frame, we were kind of like trending bearish for the last few days. That was also something in my mind as well.
Cool. Awesome. Well, look, that is a fantastic wee breakdown of that trade. And thanks for showing us the profit split as well. Before we wrap up, what's the best way for the guys to get hold of you?
Yeah, so best way for people to get a hold of me is on Instagram. So that's train_and trade. It'll be in the show notes. Also, on my YouTube channel, I have a bunch of videos. So if you guys like that educational one, I have a lot more setups and stuff like that that I post consistently on my YouTube channel. And also like, doing different like reviews on funding companies, doing withdrawals, everything like that. I post it on my YouTube and Twitter. So if you guys are on Twitter, it's Omar, OMARAGAG6. And yeah, those are the best 3 platforms to find me on.
Brilliant. Well, look, guys, do remember we did do an awesome podcast where you get to hear Omar's full story, the ups and downs and everything in between. It goes into almost every part of being a trader. There's a link under the video to that. Also, look, if you're looking to automate any of the stuff you've just seen here on the chart, then I've got my Robot Builders Club where I teach you how to automate virtually anything you can see on a price chart. So, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe, hit like, click on that notifications bell, click all, and we'll see you in the next video.